My son got leukemia 4 years ago. He was 8 years old.
Carly, my daughter, was diagnosed last April with neuroblastoma.
Our son, Christopher, was diagnosed with leukemia when he was just after his second birthday.
We went to our primary doctor. They told us, he had a tumor.
Our son, William, was diagnosed pretty much at birth with a very rare immune deficiency called chronic granulomatous disease.
My son, Joshua Dinkins, was diagnosed with a rare immune deficiency disease called Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome.
In 1997, my daughter was diagnosed with a malignant brain tumor.
It was terminal, and the only cure for that was a bone marrow transplant.
One of the most stressful things that can happen to an individual or to a family is to have a sick child in the family. And when you're talking about lymphoma and leukemias and other conditions that lead to bone marrow transplant, you're talking about some of the biggest stressors that you possibly can have.
Because this is a very high stress type of sickness and treatment. Sometimes the treatment itself can be very deadly.
Patients who come here are often in the hospital for 4 or 5 weeks, sometimes longer. So they know that they're going to be in the hospital for quite some time, and that obviously has a big impact on family life.
We probably spent close to 20 weeks in the hospital on the bone marrow transplant unit.
When I first walked in, I was overwhelmed with sadness.
Then the reality sets in, and you start to understand that nothing is going to be the same again.
Total realignment of your life.
You have to leave your friends, your family, your home.
Between my wife and I, Lisa, we were one of us was always there.
My wife, she wound up taking a year off just to be with Gianni in the hospital.
You have to give up on everything.
It's a tough environment to do well in.
Gracie was born in 1991 with Down syndrome and was diagnosed with kind of a pre-leukemic state in 92. Then she underwent 10 inpatient months of chemotherapy. Through a 10-month stay at Texas Children's Hospital, I saw a stark contrast between the overflow of support that we received from family and friends, our church, and families around us that didn't have the overflow of support that we had. I wanted to provide for these families extended family that was absent.
His Grace Foundation walks in and makes a presence to say you're cared about, you're loved, you're supported, from the patient to the parents to the family.
They are like families to these families and the patients, especially to those who do not have families in the area.
We come in and tell them about His Grace Foundation and what we're going to do by coming alongside them and being grace in the need of the moment.
They usher you in, they talk to you about all the things that are going on, they make you aware of what the services are that they have available.
His Grace Foundation starts out by providing a basket for each of the families.
When I first got there, we get this basket just full of stuff to help us get initiated in.
Presents for Andres and nice things for them and for me.
And it was packed with stuff that you would need for a hospital stay and packed for stuff I haven't even thought about.
Washing detergent to books, and it was just this huge basket.
A lot of the things in the basket are tailored specifically to your child.
It was like a big box of Legos, a stuffed animal. It calls it Quack Quack. It's like a little dog.
And Will was so excited, and we had fun just going through all of his things and meeting the people.
And it was such a good feeling to know that someone knew we were coming.
And all the other things that happened were just like they were added on even more.
They paid for our parking, which is a huge expense.
It's like $10 a day, and we're going to be here for 6 weeks. Just financially, we went from 2 paychecks now to 1.
And then when we got there and we were presented with a parking card, we both just looked at each other and we were so excited and relieved. that wasn't a financial burden.
We also give them an 800-minute phone card if they need it. They can have one of those every week.
So we can keep in contact with our friends. We use them to call friends from Andres, so he was so happy talking to his friends in Mexico.
We provide 2 catered meals a month where we turn this conference room into a cafe and we serve our families.
You get a chance to go sit and visit a little bit because honestly there's not a whole lot of family-to-family interaction in the bone marrow transplant unit.
If they can't leave their child, we either offer to have a His Grace Foundation volunteer come in and sit with their child so they can get away.
My husband and I, we had a date night down in the His Grace meal, and they had candles and music.
Or we actually bring their meal to them on a tray.
We have a meal delivered on the day of their child's transplant so that the parents don't have to be concerned about trying to grab lunch or grab dinner. That's taken care of.
We also provide a massage therapist that comes up once a week
to do shoulder and neck massages for the parents.
And we would just sign up for time slots, anyone on the floor.
Every week the nurses come by your room with a shopping list.
They went shopping for my wife when she was there during the day.
For me to have those personal items that I wanted to have that I didn't get a chance to pick up or do.
Even if it's a toy, toothpaste.
Nickelodeon magazine or a bag of Cheetos.
Whatever toy he wanted or something special for that week.
He had like all the week to, think, I want this, no, I want this. And he was like all the week, dreaming.
And when that would come in, he would feel so special.
We also celebrate birthdays in a big way, and we just make sure that they have cake and presents.
We sponsor every family on the bone marrow transplant unit for Christmas, and it's the patient as well as their siblings.
And when they receive all these nice gifts, they forget about not being able to go out and then celebrate Christmas.
They offered to come in and sit with my child while I could take a break.
We could actually step outside and know that he was in good hands and having fun.
They would sit there for a couple of hours and put together these models or play with toys and put things together.
I know for me personally, being in there was having the visits.
So if you wanted to go out and talk to one of the volunteers, they were there to listen.
And through that, you come away with some hope.
The physicians are definitely taking care of the medical side. But there is so much more to healing and caring.
I think that one of the reasons that we are as good as we are is the sorts of things that His Grace brings to Texas Children's Hospital.
Knowing that you have a family that cares, it means so much. I don't think our patients could do without His Grace Foundation.
It's pretty amazing that Gracie, in all of her treatment and complications, she's, to most people, a non-contributor. And I just think how fine that literally her life has been used to bless so many.